When you look at the American Southwest, you see a vast, arid expanse of high plateaus and deep canyons. Much of this sweeping desert landscape sits at an elevation of over a mile above sea level. But if you look closely at the dry rock in this high-altitude desert, you find something completely out of place. These rock layers are packed with marine fossils, like these clamshells, permanently embedded in the stone. This presents geologists with a deep earth puzzle. Somehow, a landscape that was once an ocean floor was lifted thousands of feet into the sky, eventually becoming the high desert we see today. While modern science investigates the physical mechanics of how this massive landform came to exist, an ancient text describes a remarkably similar physical event. Placing the two side by side invites a fascinating question. Why do these two records align so closely? The Book of Moses contains the account of Enoch. Here, Enoch is presented as a prophet whose words, empowered by God, appear to directly affect the physical structure of the earth itself. The text records a specific promise made to Enoch. The mountains shall flee before you, and the rivers shall turn from their course. The narrative continues into chapter 7, where it explicitly states that after the earth trembled and waters were redirected, there also came up a land out of the depth of the sea. We have an ancient text describing an entire landmass emerging from beneath the water, and we have a modern geological record confirming that the high deserts of Arizona were once an ocean floor. Let's compare the two side by side. Geologists have established a clear baseline for the American Southwest. Based on the extensive marine fossil record, this entire region was once entirely submerged beneath an ancient inland sea. This aligns with the opening conditions described in the Book of Moses, where the land in question begins hidden deep beneath the surface of the ocean. Eventually, massive forces deep within the earth began pushing this specific crustal block upward. As the land rose, the inland sea was forced to recede, rapidly draining away from the newly elevated terrain. This physical draining process mirrors Enoch's account, which describes the aftermath of the shifting terrain by stating that the rivers of water were turned out of their course. In both the scientific and scriptural accounts, the progression remains the same. A submerged landscape rises, forcing its waters to recede, leaving behind a high, dry plateau. The specific tectonic process responsible for raising the Arizona Plateau is known as the Laramide orogeny. An orogeny is a geological term for a mountain-building event caused by the heavy deformation of the Earth's crust. During a standard mountain-building event, powerful forces push the land upward, which normally causes the rock layers to heavily fold, tilt, and fracture under the massive pressure. But the uplift of the Arizona Plateau was entirely different. Instead of crumpling, a vast section of the Earth's crust rose thousands of feet in a smooth, vertical motion, leaving its layers completely intact. You can still see the evidence of this lack of deformation today. Looking at the exposed rock face, the sedimentary stripes remain perfectly horizontal, completely undisturbed by the immense forces that lifted them. Enoch's account attributes this kind of specific, large-scale movement to a focused exercise of power. In the Arizona Plateau, we find the physical result of that same type of directed vertical motion, a landmass that rose thousands of feet while keeping its original structure intact. Whether explained through anomalous deep earth tectonic forces or divine command, the final result is the same. A massive new landmass emerges, highly elevated and habitable, without destroying the terrain in the process. Science and scripture naturally operate within different frameworks. Geology relies on observable physical laws to explain how things happen, while scripture conveys spiritual truths and divine purposes. Yet, when the descriptions from these two domains align so closely in detailing such an unusual, specific event, it invites us to reconsider how we view both the natural world and sacred history. It raises a compelling question. Could the physical features of the earth actually preserve the structural echoes of events described in ancient texts? The towering high plateaus of Arizona stand as physical monuments to a dramatic past. They suggest that deep geological history and profound narratives of faith might just be permanently intertwined in stone.